Today's VR news day. So thank you for tuning in. We love to do these VRaaS for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 11:45, 12ish. We get started. We only go for about 20, 30 minutes, so we won't be too long today. But the purpose of the VRaaS is to bring you new knowledge and information on how virtual reality is a service. And that's what VRaaS stands for, Virtual Reality as a Service. Brought to you, of course, by Austin VR Lab. Austin VR Lab is a full scale virtual reality services company that we have created to help bring a virtual reality services to your business, to your industry, to your schools, to your home. We are full scale virtual reality, and that means we provide virtual reality as a service in three ways. Now, the purpose of our company is to put as many people into virtual reality as possible, but really with the best experiences and with the company and brand that they can trust that's going to bring them the best, the greatest, the latest, and the most trustworthy way of entering VR. Now, the three ways that we provide virtual reality as a service are through hardware, content, and management. Now, hardware talk we talk about and we help customers achieve their virtual reality goals based on what they want to acquire and what their needs actually are. There are so many headsets out there, so many variants of virtual reality, whether they're in mobile devices, standalone headsets, PC based VR, but it's really a matter of how do we match those up with their VR goals. And then one, whether that's through procurement, sales, leasing, installing full virtual reality labs into their locations. Having virtual reality is like having a new department within your company. Every company of the future's something I talk about, just like you have an HR department, an accounting department, an IT department, a marketing and sales department. Virtual reality is going to be its own department in your future company. And virtual reality is going to be interdepartmental because virtual reality can apply to your marketing, it can apply to your sales, to your operations, to your training. And because it applies interdepartmentally and across all industries, you definitely need an Austin VR lab to help you manage that platform and make sure you're getting the most out of virtual reality and putting the most out to help make virtual reality a core function of your business. Now, whether that's in architecture and engineering, whether you're an art gallery, even venues and restaurants, you need a virtual reality presence because as this past year of 2020 has taught us anything, the entire world is going virtual. In fact, that was one of the most used words of 2020 was virtual or let's meet virtually. Now, this trend is only going to continue. We're going to actually be talking about that today in our newscast is the VR numbers for 2020 and the VR forecast for future years ahead is how much VR is going to impact you and impact our future together. Of course, at Austin VR Lab, we are so thrilled that this technology is moving forward. We're a little less thrilled that how it had to be this way, but because it has to be this way, because of the climate that current economic climate that we've gone through and are going through, you know, being virtual is more important than ever, and that's why we're here to help you through that. So let's go ahead and get into some of these statistics that we were looking at. We wanted to share with our audience. Again, one of the reasons we do these casts live is because we want you to be able to interact with us. So, throughout this cast, if you have any questions or comments and you'd like to drop me a line, drop us a line, usually it's us. Um, Usually Andre or Jason are here in the studio. Jason's taking care of some business, and Andre is not in today. He is um, taking a day. And so today it's me by myself. So usually it's us, but today it's just me. So if you want to drop me a line, I'm going to be watching the chat. I love to interact with you. I love to know that people are watching and are here with us. That's why we do this live is because we want you to interact. And of course, If you have any questions or if you have any comments or you would just like to know more about Austin VR Lab, but you don't feel comfortable hopping into live chat, definitely drop us a comment after the fact. You can find us online at austinvrlab.com and on social media, across the social medias, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, however your preferred method is of communicating or getting to know more about a company, just search Austin VR Lab and you'll be sure to find us. Just look for this logo right here that you see. Austin VR Lab. Awesome. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk about what we've been looking at and what some of these numbers are and the way these numbers are trending. Here is a Road to VR article, great site for VR news. Some key data points. So, this one has a lot of Oculus Quest information in it. So, as we talk about Quest and PC based VR, we do have past episodes about the differences between these virtual realities, something that we will continue to talk about in the future. I'll try to cover a little bit of that here, but let's talk about the Oculus Quest. So the Oculus Quest 2 sales drove Facebook's Q4 non-advertising revenue to 885 million. That's a 156% increase year over year. More than 60 Oculus developers have reached $1 million in revenue, and estimates based on this data suggest between 500,000 and a million Quest 2 units sold in Q4 of 2020 alone. Mark Zuckerberg claims that the Quest 2 is on track to be the first mainstream virtual reality headset and confirms the next iteration of the headset is already in development. Now, the Quest 2 has been huge for VR. We had mobile VR, which was a great leap forward in virtual reality, where the average person, because we have these $1,000 computers in our pockets now, was able to do VR on a phone. Go back and check out our mobile headset. Grab one of our mobile headsets. You can still do mobile virtual reality on your phone, and it's a great way to access VR for the first time. And then the second way, up until very recently, was to access VR in PC based VR. Now, PC based VR is a great way to really get immersive, really get those graphics and that high fidelity immersion, as we would call it, and get into the game. Now, with virtual reality straddling these two between mobile and a PC based VR, a standalone headset was very necessary. A lot of companies have tried it. Facebook's Oculus Quest was a great success. The Oculus Quest 2, as you can see here, an even greater success. And they're already working on a 3, and this is where it's a standalone headset. So it's kind of like a PlayStation or Xbox where you can buy the console, and within the console, it does everything. You don't need an extra PC, or it's not just based on a phone. You can actually just do VR in the headset. It's a really great experience. I highly recommend it if you're looking for something to get into VR where you can do in the $400 to $600 price point and you don't want it to be tethered to a computer or require a computer. The Oculus Quest is for you. There are other brands of virtual reality that are creating their own standalone headsets. The HTC Vive comes to mind, but Facebook kind of does corner the market in this realm as of right now. But there are great companies and great products ahead to make things more agnostic and more universal. The only somewhat downside to the Quest is you're locked into Oculus officially. There's ways around that, and then you are locked in to having to use a Facebook account to use it. And some people aren't as comfortable. It also makes it a little strange for enterprise use, whose Facebook account is associated with the headset if you're using it for mass demonstrations or if you're using it across the company for different people. What Facebook account do we use? So they really didn't tie in enterprise use to the Quest. That's still going to just be best used through PC based VR. Again, if you're using it for enterprise use and you're using it interdepartmentally and you're not trying to buy a $400 headset for each employee to then assign to their Facebook account, then going PC based VR will definitely be the better option. We do have clients that do both. You know, we do a mixture of PC VR and standalone headsets through the Oculus Quest so they can access some content while they're on the go and mobily. So we will continue here and talk a little bit about PC based VR. Now, Facebook is betting the future of VR will be standalone headsets like the Quest 2. Not just the Rift S will be discontinued this year by Oculus, but no more PC only headsets from Facebook. So they're moving away from the PC market, which that is really where you're going to get all your high fidelity immersion. If I don't think that this is the greatest move for Facebook to make, but it seems to be the profitable one they are making at the time. Um, so and once being a leader, they're content with leaving the market. Let's keep moving. Um, Valve Steam. So Valve Steam, this is how really a lot of PC VR is based around and in is through Valve and through Steam. So Valve and Steam saw 1.7 million new VR users on Steam in 2020, 104 million VR sessions on Steam in 2020, and the average VR session playtime in 2020 was 32 minutes. That's a 30% increase year over year. So we're looking at people who are accessing VR are now spending on average a longer amount of time in VR. That is great news for the industry. That means people are getting more accustomed to being in it and are becoming more comfortable and spending a portion of their day in VR. As we move further into the future, this trend is definitely going to continue and keep going, mainly because everything and everyone is going virtual now, whether it's for health concerns, people aren't traveling, or the cost, or just realizing that work can be done from not an office, whether it's from your home or on the go. And when you can immerse yourself in an environment where you're still with your colleagues and you're still able to do your work. And what we've found is doing work in VR actually accelerates your work and productivity in that it kind of puts blinders on you. It puts you into a focused space where you can get more work done. And getting more work done is definitely the key to one of the things that we like to do here at Austin VR Lab and provide for our clients is how are we using virtual reality to optimize the business and optimize the flow and bring it into the future, whether it's through meeting with clients, whether it's through producing for clients, or whether it's for creating a better work environment that in turn creates a better product for your consumers. That is definitely the key and why we are seeing these trends and why we are really excited about these trends for the future. Let's talk a little bit more about some data points from Steam. So, VR game revenue on Steam grew by 71% year over year, and a great game, Half Life Alyx, accounts for 39% of that growth. Definitely see why. It was one of the first real triple A games in virtual reality. I had a blast playing it. I know our colleagues in the industry had a blast playing it. And so that is definitely a good indicator of a virtual reality moving more into the mainstream. Now, another little side tangent we will go on is the movie industry and the video game industry are going and are already merging in virtual reality. And so people want both more out of their entertainment, but they want new entertainment options. Sometimes playing a game isn't just enough. Sometimes watching a movie just isn't enough. But when we can combine the two in virtual reality, when you can have a playable experience, it changes the entertainment factor completely when it's a movie you can participate in or a game you can watch. It really changes the dynamic of what is entertainment, and that is going to be huge for the future of entertainment. along with attending virtual events, along with designing and planning in a virtual reality for the real world. VR is going to shape the way our future looks, whether that's through entertainment or whether that's through work or whether it's even a combination of both. What if work can become entertainment, entertainment become work? Virtual reality bridges that gap and as a result creates more productivity, a better product, and a better version of your business and your brand. So that is definitely good for everyone. Um, another another aspect about VR is because there is so much demand for it coming up, and because there are only so many headsets on the market and so many ways of accessing the market. Valve, of course, created the HTC Vive was the first one to come out on Steam and Valve, the platform. And then Valve created their own standalone headset, which was the Valve Index. Good headset, definitely a top tier headset for PC based VR. And the Index has been among the top 5 grossing products on Steam for 13 weeks running. The headset also peaked as the #1 grossing Steam product on 8 separate occasions since its release, and there have been shortages. A lot of people, it has a higher price tag, about $700, but and that's without the base stations. And but it has a great following, has a large number of people who want it. It's in high demand, and because these Oculus has ran out a couple quests a couple times, especially with the Quest 1, they were running out constantly. The Quest 2, I believe right now it's about a 2-week delivery time. I might be wrong. We can double check that for you. Um, but VR is definitely the access to the technology, to the headsets. It's in high demand, so it's creating shortages, and we definitely see a greater demand coming. So if you need help in procuring VR technologies through hardwares or headsets, definitely that's something we like to provide for our clients, and we do provide for our clients here at Austin VR Lab. We'd love to be able to do that for you. So drop us a line, get in touch with us, and we will make sure your virtual reality needs are met. Because that's what we do at Austin VR Lab. We are virtual reality as a service. So, again, I'll recap whether that's through providing hardware or that's through providing content and software and management and providing training to our clients on how to use these products. Austin VR Lab is here to solve your virtual reality needs, and we are thrilled to be able to do so. There we go. Wondering where that logo was hiding on this scene. Sorry about that. Definitely want to make sure you can see it and you always remember who we are, Austin VR Lab. Awesome. So let's continue here on. Talks a little bit about PlayStation VR. That's more video game console based VR. Sony's believed to be a long running leader in VR headsets, but the company has not committed to building a next gen. PS5 requires an adapter that will work with PSVR and only runs VR games in PS4 backwards compatibility mode. Again, no PS5 VR announcements have been made. That's what they're talking about here. None of us really know what Sony is planning, but we know that it's going to be something big because they've made such a big investment in VR before. Again, this is going to be more for your gaming content, not as much your industrial use, but definitely good to know because one of the things that people always ask when we're talking about Austin VR Lab or they ask in conversation is who's your competition? And yes, there are a lot of virtual reality companies out there, some serving content, some serving hardware, some serving training and management. But in virtual reality, whether it's Steam and Valve and HTC or Facebook Oculus, there's really no competition because we are all so complementary to each other. And because the industry is so new, we don't really see anyone or any particular brand as competition, but mainly to be complementary to one another. If one person or company is using VR, then that creates demand for someone else. And the boom is just happening. So sit tight. It's going to be a wonderful ride. And if you have any questions or you want to stay in tune to how virtual reality is a service, definitely hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell on this cast alone, but also check out our website, follow us across social. If anything, we would love to be your information source. Doesn't necessarily have to be the information source for all things virtual reality and how you can apply it to your business. So another way we do this is on Mondays, it's VR News Day. On Wednesdays, it's Shop Talk Days. So we talk about Austin VR Lab projects. We bring our clients in to tell you how they're using virtual reality in their businesses and on their sites. And then the last Wednesday of every month, we do a special episode where Jason and I do Founders Talk, where we talk about all the wonderful experiences we have had and all the wonderful experiences we plan to have in the future in virtual reality. So that's usually the last Wednesday of every month. And then every Friday, we do a Get in VR Day. So if you watched this last Friday, you got to see Andre and Jason racing around the Coda track. If you tune in this Friday, I think Jason and I are planning on playing some Final Assault. It is one of my favorite games to play in VR, especially against someone. It's like a newer version of Risk meets chess in virtual reality, and we play head to head and we get into some battles, and it provides for some great fun and we're hoping some great content. So that's going to be this Friday. Definitely hit that notification bell. You're not going to want to miss it. And again, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11:45 and 12. We get started. We go for about 30 minutes. I'm looking at the timer here. Looks like we're 23 minutes in today, so not a lot of time left on the clock. Let's finish up these last little key data points and then we will say goodbye until Wednesday when we meet again. So let's look at here. VR content, VR Studio Cloudhead Games shared a graph showing its relative revenue from 2016 through 2020. So let's go ahead and click on it and check out their graph. What a what a ridiculous looking graph, huh? That's a steep incline there. Looks like, just like the rest of us, their 2016 was good, 2017 everything was settling, and then 2018, boom, everything took off. Great, great representation of the VR industry and the direction that we are headed. Thank you, Cloudhead Games, for sharing that. And let's go back. Awesome. December 2020 revenue grew 60% year over year for VR content. And in 2020, unique users that played the studio's game grew by 131% year over year. Everyone's seeing these same numbers, especially in virtual reality as a service, because so many companies and so many brands are seeing the need to go virtual. And the next step after going virtual is going virtual reality. So, one way I explain it is you can be ahead of the curve and do it today. You can be on top of the curve by doing it tomorrow, or you can be behind the curve by contacting us next week. But either way, you're going to need to be on that curve. So if you want to get it done quickly and you want to get it done right, definitely reach out to us, and Austin VR Lab would be happy to solve all your virtual reality needs. Then we got a couple more points here. Google Tilt Brush going open source for active development. They ceased their own development, but only because they saw a greater uh, capability in their product by putting it in the hands of all developers. So through official development, Google has open sourced the project so it can live on. Um, the Walking Dead surpassed $29 million in revenue in 1 year. So great news for them and those developers and the gaming VR market. Again, there's no competition. We are all complementary to one. Rec Room, a great multi-platform multi-device platform. Let's put it that way. So you can use it on PlayStation VR, Oculus Quest. You can, and that's a trend that we're finding is an experience that's multiplayer that can be accessed across platforms is where everything is headed. Now, Rec Room has over 1 million monthly active users. That number is going up to, so a great time to get into VR. Uh, Wave started out hoping to bring virtual concerts to VR as a future of music, but has pivoted away from the medium to deliver its productions through traditional screens to reach a wider audience. So I did not know that. That's a great. I guess I missed that earlier when I was reading that because it is very important that even though things are happening virtually, that we still allow access for people in 2D mode. So somebody watching from a phone or a computer screen, very important. So, Sandbox VR, after filing for bankruptcy in August 2020, the VR arcade was able to emerge from bankruptcy in December after restructuring $13.6 million in debt. Great news for them. Some notable investments and acquisitions in VR. Vario, we've done an episode on them. We love their product. $54 million in investment. Rec Room, 20 million. Pimax, 20 million. Servios, 16 million. Also VR, virtual reality surgery training software, another $14 million investment. I mean, the list goes on. You know, whether it's through social VR games, VR office collaboration technologies, educational games, the virtual reality market is exploding. And especially with this pandemic, the virtual reality is the future. The virtual reality of your industry is the future. And I'll give you an example. So, some of the architecture, engineering, and construction clients, you saw the episode where we did talking about 10x cost savings. That number is skyrocketing because people need access to things and to be in places where they can't necessarily be anymore. But with virtual reality, we can provide that access. It's the difference between someone was building a house with a nail and hammer, and then someone came along with a nail gun. Tremendously increases the speed and the accuracy at which projects can be completed, and that's what we aim to do is help your business be a better business by providing you virtual reality as a service. Now, I just looked at the clock. Looks like we got about 50 seconds left. So while I still have you, be sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And we are so excited to be bringing you these Brasscasts every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11:45. And until we see you again, we will see you in the future. Have a great day.